It's a simple place, We float the river, we ride, we hunt and fish, bonfires. But it's not the place for me. It's the people. Yeah. I don't think I've ever sat down and talked about some of this stuff with a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Especially people I've never met.
Yeah.
Well, Elkhorn City to me is, everybody sees the mountains, but for me it's like what's in between the mountains, the people. Everybody knows everybody. Just the history here. Coal took a big hit a couple years back. A lot of people had to leave. Lots of people. It affected like a domino effect. My grandfather, they owned the mines back in the 80s when it took the big hit and they lost a lot. But then they all worked in the mines, and they were all, my grandfather was a mine foreman, and my dad worked in the mines. So coming up, I thought, you had to work in the mines. It's a hard living, it's a hard life. And really, I didn't foresee what was coming. This was my grandfather's hat. I wore it when I realized I was about done, like I wasn't gonna do it no longer. I wanted to wear it a couple times. That way I could give it to my daughter one day. And it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
When the reality set in, that first day was tough. And after that, I didn't really care much about anything or anybody. Sometimes you have someone that's on your side, whether you're 100% in the right or 100 in the wrong. And he was that for me. And he just had one. So that was tough. So after that, I went in like a downward spiral. I went from worrying about the way I looked, the way I felt, the things I had, the things I wanted, to I didn't care if the sun came up. And then, drinking and stuff, I seen it was getting expensive. But it was really the only way I could sleep. So that's what started it all, right there. I feel like when you lose that person, a piece of you is gone. So I just bounced around from these little, they call them dog holes, and that means that they're not really fit for a dog to crawl back in. There's not a job in this world that is more difficult than being an underground coal miner. It's a different world. I always remember that feeling is when I first went underground, it's like my legs didn't work the same. You think shoveling a pile of dirt is hard? Do it on your side. Do it on your knees. You never got ahead. Once you save a little money or have a little money, you get laid off. And you take what you had to get started back. It's just like a never-ending cycle of hell. When you hit rock bottom, you lay down or you climb out. You know, my daughter came into my life, and that changed. I'd like to sit here and tell you that it changed everything for me, but it didn't right then. There was just somebody else that I loved as much as I love myself. I still didn't quit, and it's embarrassing to say, but I still didn't quit doing the things that I was doing. I just hid it better. I was gonna go out one night on the side by side and ride through the night, and as I'm leaving, I look up on the hill where I live, and I see my daughter, and she's like 4 at this time, and she's just watching me. And I'm like, I just wave and keep on driving, and I was like, well, I wonder what she's thinking. I said, she just thinks I'm leaving. So I start thinking like my oldest memory, and it was my mom and dad walking me into a gym to play my first basketball game. And I was about her age, and I can remember that day. So I turned around, I went home, and I spent that evening coloring instead of riding. And she's been with me ever since. It means more to me than any dollar or anything like that. And it was days after when I made that call to that guy about the job, which let me meet reps and TCRs. And they told me who I should work for. Since I started working for Kwest, there's not one thing in my life that's not significantly better. I mean, drastically, everything changed. I felt better. I didn't feel so down. I didn't feel so bad. You're only as good as the 5 people you spend the most time with. The people here are like it's what holds you together. So, yeah, and without a lot of the people here being my glue, I would have fell apart. I wouldn't make it. I'm thankful that I'm able to give her the life that I want to, because that's all I really care about. Just that one day she looks back and is talking to somebody when she's older, and she says the path was laid for her, you know. So that's all I want.
'Cause you're my light on this earth, my God to believe. This little girl is gonna make a man out of me. This little girl is gonna make a man out of me.
But it's not the place for me, it's the people. So I'm proud that I went and made a way. I'm proud that I made the people that believed in me, that I made them proud. It was a tough process, but it paid off. And I feel like everybody can relate to what happened to me, because I feel like it happened to a lot of people. They didn't just sit and take it. They took the licks. They say life hits hard, and it does. And they were very resilient. I just kept pushing. Elkhorn City, this area will always be my home.
In the hills on the borderline, sun does it shine. The Lord has come down here and blessed us with pine. But the coal on the train left 10 years ago. Uncle Sam and his boys left us high and dry, broke. We've been up and around doing what we know best. Lace up the boots and puff out that chest in the hometown, the hometown, the hometown, the hometown.
It's time to talk.
Well, united we stand and divided we fall. Together we will overcome anything that stands to get in our way. 'Cause we ain't ever leaving this place.